What's up, everybody? Matt Gajewski here. It is officially July, and that means we have a lot of fantasy football topics to cover. We are going to be talking about Rondale Moore today, but make sure to stay tuned into this channel throughout the summer. We'll be talking best ball, mock drafts, all sorts of fantasy football topics. Hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when this and all other videos go live. But without further ado, let's start talking about the Arizona Cardinals' second-round draft pick, Rondale Moore. So he comes off the board with the 49th overall pick to the Cardinals. A little bit of a surprise after they signed A.J. Green. They have DeAndre Hopkins and Christian Kirk in-house as well, but there's still a lot to like about Rondale Moore. From a prospect profile perspective, he's only 21 years old, a little bit smaller for a receiver. He's 5'7", 181 pounds, but he has that dynamic athleticism. He ran a 4.29 40, jumped over 40 inches in the vertical, and he's just a yards after contact machine. In college, he actually had his best season as a true freshman in 2018 with Purdue, battled injuries the subsequent 2 years. In that season, he goes for 114 receptions, 1,258 yards, and 12 scores through the air. 892 of those yards coming after the catch. Ridiculous season for Moore. That was all in 13 games played. However, his next two seasons cut short by injury. 2019, he has a hamstring, limits him to 4 games. 2020, the season was already shortened due to the COVID-19 pandemic. He plays in just 4 due to an undisclosed lower body injury. Still goes over 100 yards in 3 of those 7 final games in the last 2 seasons. Now, looking at opportunity, Rondale Moore is a really interesting evaluation, especially moving to the NFL level. He had limited usage at Purdue. He was on the field for 93% of their routes. He had a 36.4% target share. College dominator ratings, fantastic. 37% breakout age, 18. Both of those indicate that his production should translate to the NFL. But he was largely a gadget player. His average depth of target was just 5.5, used near and around the line of scrimmage. Now, he played for the Purdue Boilermakers. They're not necessarily known as a college powerhouse. Didn't have a lot of time to get Rondale Moore the ball, so they were just trying to do it in any way they could. Still extremely efficient there. He did also run 91.5% of his routes from the slot. And with his size, that's probably where he plays at the NFL level, making this a bit interesting looking at Arizona this year. Again, they're a team that is going through a little bit of a transition. They had Larry Fitzgerald retire. They bring in A.J. Green. They also dealt with a Kyler Murray injury in the second half of last year, shoulder injury suffered in week 11. Their pass rate was about 56%. That was 26th. They did run a lot of plays, which is characteristic of the Cliff Kingsbury air raid offense, nearly 68 per game. That was 3rd in the NFL. Points per game, 25.5. They dropped about 5 points per game when Kyler Murray got hurt, so expecting a positive regression for the offense overall. Their strength of schedule is 24th, and their projected win total, 8.0, is slightly below 500. Now, again, Cliff Kingsbury is in his 3rd season as head coach. They run 4 wide receiver sets more than any other offense in the NFL. They lose Dan Arnold in free agency, who is really their only tight end of consequence, and often he flexed out as a wide receiver too. That means even with DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, and A.J. Green, we could see Rondale Moore on the field for somewhere around 50% of the snaps, maybe a little bit less. But there's also upside here. A.J. Green is north of 30 years old. He's coming off the worst season of his career with a sub 50% catch rate, just over 500 yards receiving on over 100 targets with Cincinnati last year. There's a very real chance Rondale Moore simply beats out A.J. Green. This makes the configuration on the offense interesting. You likely have DeAndre Hopkins outside. Christian Kirk or Rondale Moore could probably play in the slot or outside. Leaves a little bit to be desired for Moore, but it's still interesting to look at. As far as what this means for fantasy, Rondale Moore does have a little bit of uncertainty here. In drafts right now, you're getting Rondale Moore right around the 12th round. That's before Christian Kirk. That's before A.J. Green. Other receivers in this vicinity are players like Emmanuel Sanders and Nelson Aguilar, who have a much more clear path to targets. It makes Rondale Moore a bit expensive in fantasy drafts, and I actually like waiting the extra couple rounds and getting the known commodity in Christian Kirk. If you already have wide receiver secured and you're just shooting for pure upside, Rondale Moore does have a lot of untapped potential. But as far as safety in your seasonal leagues right now, waiting for Christian Kirk or just taking a similar receiver at Rondale Moore's ADP like Emmanuel Sanders makes a lot more sense right now. But that'll do it for us today at Awesemo. Again, I'm Matt Gajewski on Twitter at Matt_Gajewski. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Stick around for the channel for a bunch more player breakdowns, best ball drafts, mock drafts, everything you can think of. We will catch you again next time.